Students often tell me that when they come across a question as big as this, they get frightened. My advice to them or suggestion to them is read the question and write down all the information. This will help you understand the question better and will make it less daunting when you're trying to solve it. Okay, so let's go through. This says Steve, Mark and Ryan took their father out for a meal. Steve had 40 more than Mark. If Steve paid for the meal, the amount of money that Steve, Mark and Ryan are left with would be in the ratio of 3:8:9. If Ryan paid for the meal, the amount of money Steve, Mark and Ryan are left with is in the ratio of 5:4:1. And if Mark paid for the meal, the amount of money Steve, Mark and Ryan are left with would be in the ratio of 10:1:9. How much did the meal cost? Okay, so the first thing we know is that Steve had $40 more than Mark. So I'm just going to say that the difference between Steve and Mark is $40. Okay. Then all these ratios are about the remainder. So I'm going to say remainder. Okay, and we're talking about Steve, Mark and Ryan. So I'll say Steve is to Mark is to Ryan. So paid by, and Steve pays, the ratio is 3:8:9. Now in the question they first talk about Ryan, then they talk about Mark, but the ratios are given as Steve, Mark and Ryan, so I'm also going to write Mark first. So for Mark, when Mark pays, the ratio is 10:1:9. And when Ryan pays, the ratio is 5:4. Now we know that when Mark pays and when Ryan pays, Steve has the same amount of money. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply this whole thing by 2 so that I get the same number of units here, 10. Now we know that from here we can tell that Steve and Mark, the difference is 2 units. So I will say that Steve minus Mark is equal to 2 units. From the question we also know that Steve minus Mark is $40. So 2 units is equal to $40. Therefore 1 unit is equal to $20. So how much money does Steve have as first? So S is 10 units, which is 20 times 10, and that is $200. What about Mark? Mark has 8 units, and that is 20 times 8, which is 100. Now let's look at how much money is left with Ryan. So Ryan has 2 units times $20, which is $40. So this is the amount of money he has after he has paid. So $40 is the amount he had after he had paid for the meal. How many units did he have before he paid for the meal? So he had 9 units. So I'll say 9 units is 9 times $20, which is $180. So the cost of the meal is $180 minus $40, because what he had originally minus what he's left with, and that is $140. So based on this, we can say that the meal cost $140. So you see, by writing out the information in a logical manner, we are able to solve this question with relative ease.